button. There we go. Okay, so, whoop. Well, I'm doing good already. So I'm Michelle DeBerge, and this is Dr. Bergman. That's his picture of him. And yes, he is incredibly handsome and funny and smart.
Boy.
I know. So I want you to welcome to Gluten Dairy Sugar Free Lifestyle. Today we're going to be talking about cholesterol, but as usual, you're free to ask questions and try to stump the doctor. I'm Michelle DeBerge. I'm a foodie, chef, life coach, motivational speaker, best-selling author, and I am the founder of Gluten Dairy Sugar Free. This handsome character is Dr. Bergman. He's a chiropractor, a health and wellness expert, best-selling author, a speaker, and an educator, and he is located in Southern California. But as you heard him say, he travels all over to teach. And yes, he'll come to you. These are some of his books that he has. He's written a ton of books. They're available on Amazon, or you can contact his office, and they're brilliant. I've been reading up on them, and they're just great. So again, this is the Dr. Bergman's here, and we are going to talk about cholesterol. So what is cholesterol? I was reading, and there are all these little abbreviations. And what is it, Dr. Bergman?
Really good.
There's a picture. That's what I came over.
Okay, cholesterol is probably the most vital component that your body can make. It's the precursor to every hormone you make. It's about 80% of your brain is composed of cholesterol. Every cell in your body, and we're talking about 70 different trillion cells, has a bilipid layer, which is cholesterol. Now, anybody that says good cholesterol and bad cholesterol, fire them immediately. They haven't a clue at the function of cholesterol. Without cholesterol, you die.
Okay. So then I would say cholesterol is not a bad word. Now, just so you guys know how this works, he's the brains and I put together the slideshow, but he doesn't see it before. So I tried to pick things where I would have questions too so we could learn more. And I found this. Whoop, I'm doing good on the dinging of that. I found this showing all the arteries and stuff because one of the things that I was told is when you have cholesterol that it clogs up your arteries. And I know that's completely false, but that's what I was told. Can you help us learn more?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I love the picture you chose here too, because the bottom one's wrong. The middle right is correct. See, what happens is that now when they're testing for cholesterol, and this is when you got to have an inquiring mind. They're drawing blood from the vein, and they're testing cholesterol levels. Now, in crazy, stupid world, they're going to say, oh, your cholesterol level's high. Well, where are they getting that? They're getting it from the vein. How come, if going on the theory that cholesterol clogs arteries, how come it doesn't clog the veins? And if it
Oh,
and if it clogged the arteries, why is it clogging the big ones and not the little ones? Because if it's clogging the arteries, people should be walking around with black fingers and black toes. So it's not really accurate. Now, what's interesting, when you look at the middle picture on the right-hand side, you'll see that white layer, and on top of it is a red layer.
hmm,
And that's where plaques form. They actually form. When you look at an artery has three different layers. So it's a totally different structure than the vein. So when somebody says, well, why does it clog the arteries and not the veins? This is why. The artery has a muscle layer in the middle, and it's designed to close or constrict or open or dilate. So always throughout the day, your blood vessels are always constricting or closing and opening up and dilating to regulate blood pressure. It's kind of like putting your thumb over the hose where you're
mm,
going to increase the force.
okay.
Now, since an artery has a muscle layer, it has its own blood supply, and it's called vasovasorums, or the blood vessels of the blood vessels.
So it has its own blood supply within it, or it's separate from our normal blood. I know that sounds silly, but I'm trying to figure
No,
it out.
no, it's actually, since blood is flowing inside of the artery, there's actually little offshoots that bring those red blood cells and nutrients to supply the arterial wall.
Oh,
So it actually has its own blood supply. It's kind of like the heart has its own blood supply, even though it's filled with blood. It has certain arteries that it's where it gets its blood supply. So the arteries themselves have their own blood supply. And just like your body is continually renewing. The arteries are continually renewing as well. So now let's say you do something crazy, like let's say you eat genetically modified soy, or you take an antacid medication, or you take some other type of toxic drug. What that's going to do, or you're exposed to toxic fats, that's going to damage the vasovasorum, so the blood vessels that supply the wall of the artery. And
Oh.
so, since there's a tremendous amount of pressure inside of those arteries, I mean, if you're lifting up weights, you could have like 400 millimeters of mercury of pressure. I mean, the average person is going to say, well, blood pressure is 120 over 80, and that means that there's 120 millimeters of mercury of pressure in the arteries. But honestly, when you're going upstairs, that could be 400 pounds per pressure. So the artery is designed to withstand a tremendous amount of pressure. So let's say you damage the artery that supplies the wall of the artery, and that means that that artery is going to be weak. So the body's going to rush in there and lay down a coating of calcium, fibrin, and cholesterol in order to protect the damaged wall of the artery.
That's amazing.
Yeah, so the bottom picture is incorrect because the cholesterol isn't laid down inside of the open space of the artery. It's laid down underneath the inner laying, the inner layer called
Oh.
the tunica intima.
So going back to what you said, when they test for cholesterol, they take the blood from your vein. Would it be a better test to take the blood from the artery?
No, because it's a foolish test anyway. Your
Oh.
cholesterol levels are going to go up or down depending on need. To see, the body never does anything unintelligent. If
Well,
if you
okay.
have
So I was watching your video on cholesterol before, we put the slideshow together, and I was also doing some research, and they have all these abbreviations, and I don't remember what they are, LC something, and all this, and if this is lower, this is high, and it was quite confusing to understand why are they doing that, and what are they trying to tell us?
there wait, to get a diagnosis, and this is where a lot of medical professionals get messed up, is 15% of a diagnosis is based on the blood test. That means 85% of the diagnosis has to be wrought through some other means. And a lot of healthcare professionals are using the blood test as the definitive diagnosis. Hey, your enzyme's high, your cholesterol's high, your this is high, your that's high. Well, anybody that says that, for one, what the two things that they're mainly measuring is HDL and LDL. HDL stands for high density lipoprotein.
Okay.
LDL stands for low density lipoprotein. And so it's not even cholesterol. What they're
Oh,
measuring, what they're actually measuring is the protein carrier to the cholesterol molecule.
so what if you have
And
too much protein? Is that bad?
well, too much protein, your body's going to be able to regulate that. Too little
Oh.
protein, your body's going to try and break itself down. So these HDL, or the high density lipoprotein, that's a carrier that carries cholesterol away from the site of injury and stores it in the liver.
Oh.
The LDL, low density lipoprotein, actually brings the cholesterol to the site of tissue damage because it's used for tissue repair, and it also brings it to the organ system so your body can make certain hormones out of it. And in fact, you don't really raise your cholesterol by eating cholesterol. 80% of your cholesterol is produced by the liver itself. It's produced by your body, and it's produced in response to environmental stimulus.
Okay.
So let's say that you have a high stress lifestyle.
Okay.
You're going to require higher amounts of cholesterol because cholesterol is the precursor to every hormone you make. So you need cholesterol in order to build cortisol, which is a natural anti-inflammatory, to build testosterone, estrogen, progesterone. Everything uses cholesterol as the building product or the building material.
So when a woman goes through like the hormone changes, her cholesterol's changing too then.
hmm Oh yeah, that's why in the 70s, a woman's normal cholesterol for anyone over 50 or going through menopause, they should have cholesterol levels of 250 to 300 to be normal. And this is what's interesting. If it's higher than that, that means that there's more tissue damage or more stress. If it's lower than that, it could be a dietary or nutrition deficiency or some type of abnormal function of the gut.
Mm.
So you shouldn't look at the body as producing too much cholesterol or not producing enough cholesterol or anything like that. Look at the body as always having an appropriate level. But if you're curious about it, find out what physical, chemical, or emotional stressors are causing your body to produce higher levels of cholesterol.
And alleviate that, and then that'll adjust
Yeah.
the cholesterol.
Oh yeah.
Okay, this is amazing. Every time I learn about the body and what it's capable of, it just blows my mind.
Yeah,
So,
what's a trip is one of my patients. He's probably the most brilliant pediatrician on the planet. He only works on neurologic damaged kids. He
wow.
understands that vaccines cause neurologic damage, and so he'll work with an autistic kid. He'll give them cholesterol supplements in order to help their brain function.
Wow. Okay, well,
Yeah,
this is the next picture that I chose because remember, uneducated about cholesterol. And one of the big things that you hear is, don't eat the fast food and saturated fats and sodium because all of that's going to attack the body. And in return, your cholesterol goes nuts. And when that happens, according to this diagram, obesity, diabetes type 2, heart and kidney disease, and arthritis. So now you're saying we need cholesterol. So,
yeah, because that one there, it's worked on. It's working on fear and trying to get you indoctrinated into a system. First, cholesterol, the body produces 80% of the total cholesterol. Less than 20% is produced from what you eat. Now, saturated fats are absolutely essential for vital function of every system in your body, but it has to be healthy saturated fats. If you
for
get
example,
saturated, if you get saturated fats from a cow that's been loaded up with bovine hormone, in order to keep producing milk way beyond after the calf has been given birth, or you have saturated fats from incredibly toxic animals, that's not good for you. If you have
so
saturated fats from coconut oil or palm oil, that is something your body can utilize.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I knew coconut oil was good. So I actually put some in my coffee the last couple of days. So I thought I'd try that. Um, so knowing that and still working on the fear piece, my next slide is fear based. This is some of the questions I was getting in when we said this was going to be the topic because we chat on our kitchen table calls about your show with us and the labels freak a lot of people out when they say it has cholesterol in the food, when it says it has trans fat. And of course, I don't want people to buy pre-made food, but I want to stop having them terrified of stuff because someone asked for a nutritional breakdown of one of my recipes, and it had a lot of fat because it had coconut oil in it. But it was that chia seed pudding that we showed on one of your shows that was delicious, and they were
Mm-hmm.
like, "Well, that's not healthy because of all the fat." And I was trying to explain that it was a good fat. So, can you give us some knowledge on this area?
Oh yeah, you got to figure that healthy saturated fats don't put weight on, they actually increase your metabolic response. And anything that increases your metabolism is good. So when you're looking at nutrition facts like calories, fat, cholesterol, um, it again, this is working on an antiquated, inaccurate method of measuring food. What a calorie is, okay, and this is huge. A calorie is just a unit of heat. It's not an amount of anything other than the amount of heat that a given amount of food can produce. And
Oh,
it's actually 1 calorie is enough heat to raise, I think it's 1 liter of water, 1 degree centigrade. So it's a unit of heat. And so when you look at this, high calorie foods typically have more energy in them because when you're heating them up, it releases more energy. So
wow.
the calorie count of the food, counting calories isn't as important as understanding how your body's going to metabolize it. I mean, 500 calories from toxic fast food or butter is going to be totally different than 500 calories from a tablespoon of coconut oil slathered on top of some avocado. You know, you're going to be able to metabolize those things totally different. But when you look at how your body utilizes it, when you're talking about cholesterol, cholesterol is so important. I mean, when they give a drug to reduce cholesterol, What that does, you have a 50% increase in diabetes
Wow.
risk. You have a 30% increase in dementia and Alzheimer's. You've got a 25% increase in cancer,
Oh my
because
goodness.
what they're doing, they're chemically altering your physiology. Your body never does anything unintelligent.
So
And the
that's why so
second,
many people who say they have high cholesterol then have diabetes, and it's because they're taking the medication that actually really made them susceptible to that.
exactly, because you got to figure if you have high cholesterol, you have either physical, chemical, or emotional stress. And if you're eating the fast food, what that has in it is a lot of different toxic components. Now, your body is going to take that French fry or that toxic animal product. It's going to try and process it. It's going to cause a systemic inflammatory response because it's poisonous, and it's going to actually damage cells. I mean, if you
Wow.
put those the trans fatty acids that those French fries are soaked in, if you soak human cells in it, it's going to cause an inflammatory response. It's going to kill them. So
Wow.
your body needs higher cholesterol to adapt to that, in order to decrease the inflammation. So you eat that fast food, you're not eating the cholesterol in there, because they'll say, well, no, the French fry is a vegetable, the potato is a vegetable, it's fried in vegetable oil, there's absolutely no cholesterol in it. And they're right. However, if you eat that French fry that's been fried in the genetically modified canola oil, it's going to go inside your system, physically damage the cells, and the body is going to have to raise your own cholesterol level in order to repair the damage that the freaking vegetable oil did in the first place.
Wow. And then you add in all the GMO stuff on top of that and sugar.
Hun, there you go. You got it. Absolutely.
So sugar too, how does that affect the body? Because one of the questions that I got yesterday for today was, um, if I'm eating sugar, is that affecting my cholesterol, or is the sugar affect? How is the sugar affecting my body? And I said, well, first of all, go read the article about how bad sugar is, and then come listen to you.
Yeah, well, healthy sugars are a totally different thing. Because you got to figure it's glucose.
Hmm.
And virtually everything you eat is going to break down to glucose. And this is going to be the apple, the banana, the celery, the kale. Okay, is going to be breaking down into glucose. So glucose is a main energy source. And in fact, your body uses all the cells in your body utilize glucose. Your brain utilizes glucose.
Wow.
So it's not necessarily the sugar you're taking in, it's the type of sugar that you're taking in. If you're taking in genetically modified sugar beets, okay, which is the typical white sugar that you're going to see on the tables, if
Yes.
you're taking in the high fructose corn syrup, that's completely poisonous. It's going to tax your adrenals. It's going to weaken your pancreas. It's going to, I mean, has an incredibly toxic effect. So the toxic synthetic and the toxic modified sugars in our diet are devastating. The natural sugars that you're going to get from, like, because you're not talking about blueberry free diets,
No.
or back away from that peach,
Yeah, stay away from that. No, but it's interesting. It's just like the bun that's on that ugly hamburger has the genetically white flour. It's got the sugar in it to make it sweet. It's got the animal with the hormone on it. It's got the cheese made from chemicals as well as milk from a bad cow, and then you've got the vegetable oil.
Mhm.
So the mix. So I put sorry for I don't believe in measuring yourself with the weight, but it's the best picture I could find to make the point of some of the things we should be putting in our body. The biggest thing that I learned on the cruise with you, and you repeated it so much, the first step to getting healthy is water.
Oh, hugely important. And you got it. The timing of water is absolutely essential. You can't drink water a half hour before a meal. You can't drink water during a meal. You can't drink water a half hour after a meal. But in between meals, you've got to drink a lot of water in a consistent basis. Because if you drink like a liter at one sitting, you're not going to get the absorption of it. So you need to drink at least 50% of your body weight in liquid throughout the day in water, but not around a meal, because that's going to
Wait,
dilute the stomach
50%
acid
of your body weight?
in ounces.
Oh,
In
okay,
ounces.
okay. Because
So
I was thinking,
so
oh my gosh.
yeah. So wait. So you figure a 200-pound person needs 100 ounces of water, which is going to be about 2.5 liters of water. and that's in the ballpark. You know, if it's
Yeah.
hotter, you're going to need more. If it's colder, you're going to need less. If you're doing vegetable juices, you're going to need less water because you're going to get a lot of the water from the juices. So that's in the ballpark. The water is vital for healthy cellular function.
So let's say someone is listening and they are currently on cholesterol medication and they're just got diagnosed with diabetes. What do they do?
Oh, fantastic. First, fire the doctor because he's obviously ignorant of the function of cholesterol. Watch the video, Statin Nation. Get the book, The Cholesterol Myth. Get educated about cholesterol. Watch our videos on cholesterol. And then you go in, once you're educated, you call up the doctor, you give him all the information that you have on the function of cholesterol, how vital cholesterol is, and then you find the source of why your cholesterol is high. Okay, find out the tissue damage, the physical, chemical, or emotional stress, and then you look at why your body is adapting to those type of stressors. You fix the stressors, and then your cholesterol levels will go down to normal. See, cholesterol is not a problem; it's a gauge, and it's not even a very accurate gauge of health. If you're taking a lot of things that damage cells, you're going to need more cholesterol in order to repair the cells. If
Oh,
you're under higher stress, you need more cholesterol in order to produce the stress hormones.
so let's say, I'll use myself as an example. So I had a really stressful week a couple weeks ago, and so my cholesterol was probably pretty high at the
Hmm.
time. How does that affect my weight? Was that holding on to stuff and the fat too because the cholesterol is running higher?
Oh, absolutely. There's actually a weight distribution. See, cortisol is one of the best anti-inflammatories your body makes, and the adrenals make it, and they make it out of cholesterol. And cortisol is fantastic because it's an anti-inflammatory. However, when you're under stress, you don't want a lot of energy going to digestion because digestion takes a lot of energy.
Mm.
So when you're under stress, your body is going to store the food, store the calories instead of utilizing them. So people in a cortisol mediated metabolic state or where they're under chronic stress, they're going to be storing weight or calories in their belly, seat, and thighs. And that's a cortisol distribution of weight.
Wow.
And you'll see this when and you could just say, wow, that person's got a high physical, chemical, or emotional stress load.
A
And
load.
so,
I'm sorry.
yeah, well, yeah, but that's the way that you because when you see that different fat distribution, they might and this is where a lot of people get frustrated. They say, "Oh man, I'm only taking in 500 calories and can't lose weight and this and I can't sleep and I'm stressed at work and I'm doing." Hey, deal with the physical, chemical, and emotional stress loads, and then your body is going to utilize those calories and not store them.
Oh, that's fantastic. Okay, one of our listeners, Kathy, she just wrote, should she be filtering her water? And if so, what kind of filter?
Absolutely. If you're living in any country that chlorinates or fluoridates, or if any country that you're living in, if any people are taking prescription drugs and they happen to be urinating in the toilet, the water is going to be toxic. So the best filter around that I've seen is Dolton. And in America, it's called DoltonUSA.com is the website, DOLUTON.
Okay, let me spell
And
Dolton.
DOULTON.
Okay, D O U
Dolt,
L D O
Do
L T O N.com.
yeah, and or no, DoltonUSA.com.
Okay,
And,
USA.com. I'm seeing the
and
link
these
down here.
the on the counter filter is $279. And what you really need is you need something because water comes out of the tap about 7.8 to 8.3 pH. So water comes out of the tap at a pretty decent pH. But you got to get rid of the fluoride, you got to get rid of the chlorine, you got to get rid of just about everything.
Wow.
Okay, and if reverse osmosis is going to eliminate some stuff, it won't eliminate all the fluoride. Distilling the water is going to break the matrix of the water, so you just need to filter the tap water to get the chemicals out, the chlorine out, the fluoride out, and that's what the Dolton filters do. And it works for about 6,000 liters. And then the replacement filters are only about $50. And what they use is a fossilized algae clay that's mixed with colloidal silver.
Wow.
And that's the first stage. And then the second stage is a chemical filter to remove the fluoride. So
Wow.
I mean, I've got one on the boat, one at home, one in the office. I mean, my kids got them. It's essential.
Okay. I'm going to do the next slide. We were talking about this last time you and I were together on a call about eating the rainbow and especially the dark fruits and vegetables and organic and how that helps. I had put the slide in originally because when I was doing my little research, and I come in here mostly to learn also, was that I read that eating the darker purples and things like that would really help your body balance out cholesterol properly. False or true or false?
Well, never, that's allopathic thinking. Okay, always hold in your heart that your body's always going to do something intelligent. You never eat something in order to have you're not going to eat turmeric root to lower blood pressure. You're not going to eat blueberries to lower cholesterol because high blood pressure and high cholesterol are adapting to a toxic deficient environment. You don't want to reduce your body's response to that.
Oh.
However, yeah, because that's treating it allopathically, and that's not the way the system's designed. Realize that cholesterol is going to be elevated if there's tissue damage. Now, the reason blueberries and blackberries and fresh carrots and fresh vegetables, the ones with the multicolors, the reason those lower your body's need for cholesterol is because what's the function of cholesterol? Cholesterol is actually the precursor to stress hormones. It's used for tissue repair. Okay, it's absolutely vital for cellular function. All of the colors on these plants are loaded with soluble fibers, and they're also loaded with antioxidants. And what do antioxidants do with tissue? They help repair tissue. So,
So
so, in,
that's
so in,
why.
yeah, so instead of your body requiring a high amounts of cholesterol to handle the inflammation and to help with tissue repair, you're getting the anti-inflammatories already, so you don't need to make the cortisol. I mean, blueberries are an anti-inflammatory, carrots are anti-inflammatory, and then all of these anti-inflammatories reduce your need for cortisol. And then with the antioxidant effect of the fruits and vegetables, then you don't require as much cholesterol for tissue repair.
Wow.
So
Okay. So I see how they twisted it. Okay, that makes sense. Our bodies are really freaking amazing. The more I learn from you, it's just absolutely amazing. But the interesting piece is when you go to the internet, of course, everything's true on the internet, right? Um, there's so much research or articles out there that actually are not true.
yeah, they're designed to sell a product or something. They're not designed to get people to appreciate that their body is a brilliant, beautiful machine. And you're divinely inspired. You're 70 trillion cells held together with energy. And the more stuff that you understand, you're not going to require to take something to get an effect. Your body is always functioning correctly given the environmental stimulus.
Okay, this picture that I'm showing you, I like monkeys, is actually it just happened, so I will be there next year. This is Thailand's Monkey Festival, and they build all these giant piles of fruits and vegetables and all the colors, and the monkeys go and they get whatever they want to eat, which got me thinking. If you're craving a certain fruit or vegetable, is it because the body needs those nutrients, or is that something completely separate?
It, honest to goodness, that it's because your body's craving it, but not necessarily the nutrients. It's like if somebody's craving chocolate, typically it's going to be mineral deficiency. And this is how I do most of my exams on kids, and a third of my practice is under 12. I'll say, okay, honey, what do you like? What are you craving? What do you want to have for dinner or lunch? And if you get somebody that with attention deficit disorder or sleep problems that's craving mac and cheese or pizza, you got to suspect a leaky gut and a low functioning thyroid. If
Wow.
somebody is dying for some sweetness, it means that they're having a problem with carbohydrate metabolism. They may have of course, leaky gut with candida overgrowth and probably a history of antibiotics. So,
Wow.
listen to what your body's craving is going to give you a clue to the metabolic processes that your system requires.
So I went on a papaya kick for like 3 days. What does that say?
Oh, and well, one of the things with papayas, and this is really, really cool, the seeds in papayas have an anti-parasitic effect. So it could mean that you were craving energy because the fruit itself does have a lot of carbohydrates in it, but also the seeds themselves have an anti-parasitic effect. So you might have picked up a parasite in the Caribbean.
Wow, isn't that cool? The next picture is actually a picture I used in the juice book, and we're going to give the audience the juice book recipes as our gift today. But I made the best juice, and I got my store to finally carry turmeric root. So I've been putting that in all of my juices, and I've just been blending whatever I felt like. Like today was watercress, carrot, celery, beet, and turmeric. And I
Yep.
know that you're a big juice person. So, can you tell me a
Well,
little bit? Go ahead.
I got to tell you, I'm getting hungry. That looks great.
I know. It's I've
Yeah,
been on a kick.
and this is kind of neat because when you're juicing, you're getting soluble fiber. Soluble fiber is fiber because we know heavy fiber can clean the intestinal tract, and that what gets you pooping better. But the
Yep.
soluble fiber actually is so small that it can clean the arteries. Now remember, the
Oh,
first thing that causes the laying down of plaque in the arteries is damage to the vasa vasorum or the blood vessels of the blood vessels from toxic products. So if you can clean the lining of the artery, okay, and just heal those blood vessels that supply the blood vessels, you can actually see a reduction of plaquing of the artery by doing between 30 and 60 and 90 days of juicing.
that's
So the juice,
amazing.
I know it's totally cool. This is why the vegetable juice actually lowers cholesterol, but do you want to lower cholesterol? No. Do you want to help the function of why cholesterol is being produced, such
Yes.
as the tissue? Absolutely. So that's the beauty of the soluble fibers. It cleans the arteries, and then it allows you to, it has an anti-inflammatory effect, so it actually gets the system working correctly. So the juicing is I'm a huge fan of because I want my arteries clear.
Yeah, I didn't even know that. So one of the first pictures we looked at, they were totally wrong. They were showing the blood veins clogged, but how you're saying that the arteries, it's absolutely amazing. So just the simple thing of having juice of whatever you want to juice in the morning with vegetables is just powerful. Now, you said something about there's a picture of pineapple in here too for a reason. You said something on the cruise about pineapple and how great it is to eat. And actually, I was craving pineapple today. I had 2 days of papaya. Today was pineapple, and how important it is to eat the pineapple. And I just wondered if you'd share that today also.
Oh gosh, well, pineapple is one of the best anti-inflammatories around, and fresh pineapple is got the highest aspect. It's called bromelain, and
That's what it
so
was.
if you're working out, man, fresh pineapple. And I messed up my knee the third day of the cruise working out in the gym.
Mm.
And so, man, it was pineapple breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I mean, because I like to be comfortable. If I'm going to do damage, I want to have an anti-inflammatory, not like an Advil or a Motrin or a Aleve, because those are chemical anti-inflammatories that limit your body's ability to repair. Because inflammation is how the body repairs itself. What bromelain does is it decreases the excess inflammation while help repairing the tissue so that it causes a faster tissue repair but makes you comfortable.
Wow. Okay. Well, I'm comfortable today. I ate half a pineapple. It was good too.
Yeah, baby.
I'm sort of stumped because I had all these questions about cholesterol, and as I'm sitting here looking at them, I'm like, you just like blew half of them off because of the myths that we're told, and I'm just sitting here a little stunned. I don't know if the audience is, but it's sort of like, wow, half the stuff that I thought was real is not real, and cholesterol is good, and I need it, and it's going to be higher when I'm stressed or I'm anxious or other things like that, and that the body can regulate it. And if I take the medicine, I'm prone to Alzheimer's and diabetes. I mean, my mind is just completely sort of fried right now. So I've got a couple questions that were sent in. I'm sitting here going, wow, half the show just fell off the table. Um, So I did print out on the next couple slides a couple questions. Our kitchen table members have the privilege of being able to type in questions if they can't come and hearing the show later. And so these are some questions that are coming up, and I'm just sitting here just sort of stunned because every time I heard the word cholesterol, I would worry, oh my gosh, I'm getting older. I should probably check that. And then I remember I did blood work about 6 months ago, and she's like talking to me about cholesterol. And I didn't even understand half of what she was saying. So finally, I just looked at her and said, so am I okay? Well, for now you are. And, the fear that's around cholesterol. And when putting together the show, I did just a few slides because I just love to hear you talk. And I had written questions down here. And it's like, what we thought was real is not real. My world just shifted upside down, just so you know.
Yeah, the entire medical system is looking for a level, and when you realize, because it's all based on homeostasis, the entire medical system is based that everybody should have similar levels, blood pressure, cholesterol, blood sugar, whatever. And if your levels of any one of those things are off, then they give you a chemical to bring you down to homeostasis. And that's been used in the medical world for about 70 years. And it not only is it not working, by giving a chemical like a cholesterol drug or a blood pressure drug or a diabetes drug, it brings those levels down, but it kills you early. The whole basis of the new healthcare system is called allostasis, where you realize that your body is constantly changing the blood pressure, blood sugar, cholesterol levels, depending on environmental stimulus to keep you alive. So your temperature is going to go up when you have a cold. Your cholesterol is going to go up when you have tissue damage. Your blood pressure is going to go up when you need more oxygen or you're toxic. And in the new world, they're going to be monitoring that, and then they're going to say, your blood pressure and cholesterol levels are high. We need to make sure that you have plenty of antioxidants to help your body get more oxygen and do more tissue repair.
Oh, wow. Okay. Here's a question from our audience. I heard on Dr. Oz that if you eat shrimp, it actually prevents cholesterol from absorbing into your arteries. Is this true? Is shrimp healthy food that should be eaten twice a week? The giggle back. Yay.
Well, considering most shrimp come from shrimp farms that are loaded with heavy metals, probably not a good idea. Okay.
What about wild-caught shrimp?
The wild-caught shrimp are going to be a heck of a lot healthier for you. And I mean, it's so far afield from reality that it's really hard to comment on that. But just understand that any animal products, any kind of dead flesh, and I'm okay with eating animal products once a week to once a month. That's totally cool. But it's going to have endotoxins on it. And the endotoxins are going to cause an inflammatory response. So if you eat an animal product every day, you're going to have some type of systemic inflammation on the areas that's hitting it, because I mean that's what it's doing. You've got a dead piece of shrimp or a dead piece of fish or a
ruining my lunch.
Yeah, but that's okay. It's okay. It's going to go into your stomach. You're got acids to break it down. But the residue from eating animal products is acidic. So your body's going to have to alkalinize that residue after you get through digesting it. So if you don't have a healthy amount of water, a healthy amount of fresh fruits and vegetables, you're not going to be able to alkalinize it. Then that's going to cause an inflammatory response, and cholesterol is going to go up.
Wow.
So any thing that's going to damage tissue, that has the potential to damaging tissue, long term isn't good. So now if you mix turmeric with the shrimp, or garlic with the shrimp, or chilies with the shrimp, all of those have anti-inflammatory properties.
So my curry shrimp dish would be okay then, because it's got all that in it.
Oh dear, absolutely fantastic. It's incredible. But you don't want to eat shrimp every day. No. You don't want to eat animal products every day, because it eventually is going to cause your pancreas, your organ systems all have to work harder to process the animal flesh. And, eat animal products once a week, once a month, you're going to be fine.
Okay, this is from the audience, and then we'll go to the kitchen table ones. Do you recommend vitamins? And if so, there's so many to pick from. What do you recommend?
There's only a couple of supplements that you have to have if you're living on this planet. Number one, you got to have a plant-based mineral supplement. Everybody does. The soil that we have is now nutrient deficient, so you have to have a sea vegetable-based mineral supplement. Absolutely,
Okay.
hands down, without a doubt, everybody needs it.
Okay.
You also, without a doubt, everybody needs some type of vitamin C supplement. Now, this would be a vitamin C with bioflavonoids, so it's complete. And
Spell
the average,
flavonoid, FLAV.
um, yeah, it's bioflavonoids, and what that means is it's a complete vitamin C. Some vitamin Cs are just ascorbic acid. So vitamin C with bioflavonoids, and with vitamin C, you need to take it throughout the day. And so
Oh,
between 1,000 milligrams and 2,000, 3 to 4 times a day, because your body can't produce it, and if you don't have it available to utilize, then you're just going to pee it out. But you need it throughout the day.
I had no idea. I just
And
learned something. Oh boy. All
and
right.
then
Well, there
and
went my vitamin C.
yeah, and then everybody needs some type of iodine. Like we recommend Lugol's iodine, and that this one it's because your thyroid needs iodine, and every organ in your body has some type of receptor sites for the thyroid, the molecules, what the thyroid produces. Now, and you use iodine, which is a halide, to make the T3 and T4, which is what the thyroid produces. Now, the reason you need an iodine supplement is because you're exposed to a whole bunch of stuff that looks a heck of a lot like iodine that's becoming toxic.
Wow. Wow.
Okay,
I had
and so
no
like
idea.
chlorine is similar to iodine, fluoride is similar to iodine, bromine, which is in most commercial breads. So if you're exposed to water, toothpaste, or bread, then your thyroid's going to be deficient because you don't have sufficient amount of iodine. So the thyroid is going to try and make the iodine molecule out of the chlorine, out of the fluoride, out of the bromine, and it's going to be toxic. Oh, and it's not Lugol's brand. We actually use Ancient Purities brand, but Lugol's this was invented back in the 1800s, and it's a combination. It's a formula of iodine. It's part iodine and iodine. And Ancient Purities brand, we get it out of England. It's the best one that I've seen anywhere. And
Okay.
it's
I know I'm not spelling things right. I'm sorry, guys, but at least I'm getting it there so you can have it. Because these are the things.
I'm getting exactly what you're writing because I like phonetically.
Well, I'm sitting here thinking, I've spent these last 3 years, getting healthy, getting gluten, dairy, sugar free, getting the supplements in me, juicing, and I have all these different boxes of different supplements, and I'm, oh no, and then my new one is maca. After your talk on maca, I looked at Dr. John DeWitt and I said, oh my God, I need a vat of that to roll in. And I started really looking at my supplements, but I don't have iodine in it, so I use toothpaste. There we go, iodine.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah, yeah. And
Okay.
the toothpaste you use, hopefully it has absolutely no fluoride. Okay.
Okay, there we go.
Yes.
I need new
So
toothpaste.
yeah, well,
I read that coconut oil and baking powder mixed together make a great toothpaste.
yeah, that's good. I mean, I like earth paste because all it is clay, essential oils, and some baking soda.
I'm typing that down. Earth paste. Okay.
Earth paste. And what's neat is if you look on like the back of Crest, it says if swallowed, call Poison Control Center. If you look on the back of earth paste, it says eat as much as you want.
Oh my God, that's so great. Okay, well, here's our first question. Whoop, I gotta click it. That lysine isn't part of cholesterol levels hereditary. I know you'd love this one. And no matter how you eat, you may still have high cholesterol. I know how you feel about hereditary, so go.
Yeah, I hope so. And there's a different thing between hereditary, genetic, and genetic expression. So if your family consistently has had high stress, high danger, or high tissue damage, then hereditarily or genetically, you're going to be predisposed to high levels of cholesterol because your body's preparing to adapt to that high stress, high tissue damage area. So, if you're, an Eskimo who's eating a tremendous amount of cholesterol, tremendous amount of saturated fats, you're probably going to have very low levels of heart disease, and your body's going to be used to that high level of fat. If you're from Africa and you maybe have a lot of chance for tissue damage, and you may need a consistent level of fat produced by your body, then an African may have higher levels of cholesterol than an Eskimo. But that's about it. It all
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, it all depends on your body's needs. I mean, cholesterol changes in the wintertime, it goes up. In the summertime, it goes down.
Wow,
So cholesterol is actually a really poor indicator of your health.
that's
You know,
amazing. I'm
it
I'm
all
just stumped.
yeah, all it indicates is that there's high stress levels or tissue damage.
Okay. Um, this question came from another one of our kitchen table members. How to lower the HDL minus 60? I don't even know what that means.
HDL is high density lipoprotein. That's going on an antiquated idea that your body is stupid and it's producing something that's dangerous to your body.
Wow.
Okay, so the body is smart. Of
Oh,
60 is absolutely what your body requires. If
wow.
you said mine is 300, I'd say your body's smart. And HDL is called high density lipoprotein. That means the body is taking cholesterol away from the site of injury, storing it in the liver. So, what you want to do if you have abnormal cholesterol levels, make sure that you take healthy amounts of antioxidant food, and that's going to be fruits and vegetables, plant-based diet, but it's also going to be dealing with the physical, chemical, and emotional stressors. Allow your cholesterol to be high, because once you deal with the physical, chemical, and emotional stressors, then the cholesterol, in response to the change in stress, will reduce its levels. Don't look at cholesterol as the bad guy. Cholesterol is not. It's produced in an intelligent response to the body by adapting to the environmental stimulus of physical, chemical, or emotional stress.
That's so crazy. Okay, this is the last question that we had coming in. My sedimentation rate is 40 and I eat very healthy. This means my inflammation is high. And so, how do I go about lowering it?
Ah, find out what, because when you look at this, and they're talking about the ESR rate, and so the sedimentation rate means an inflammatory response. Eating very healthy is one, okay, but that means that there's some type of systemic inflammation about the body. It could be that they're working out too much. It could be that they're not detoxing enough. It could be that they're not eating enough water. It could mean that there could have nerve pressure, like say a whiplash trauma from 10 years earlier, that's causing choked information going from the brain to the body.
Wow.
So whatever it is, you got to find it. What we would do with a typical person like this is first we do a physical exam. Then we do digital x-rays to find out how the system is. Then we would do a heart rate variability study to check and see if the sympathetic or parasympathetic nervous systems are imbalanced. We check the organ tissue supply, or the sympathetic nerve supply to the organs. We'd look at an entire body to find out what part of the system is breaking down, because inflammation, and that's what the sedimentation rate is, inflammation is how the body is repairing itself. So there's some kind of tissue damage in the body that the body can't heal, and it's doing the best it can to heal it by elevating the ESR rate. So find out what tissue's damaged, fix the tissue, but it actually boils down to an immune system issue. So fix that, and you don't want to lower the ESR rate. You want to find the tissue damage and fix it.
Okay. Hold on, I'm typing in something. There's the link. We made a juice book with some recipes, some of the ones that I use. There's recipes all over for juicing to get that into you. So I just dropped that link in there for you guys to have. This has been a conversation with myself and Dr. Bergman. And I have to say, every time I work with you and talk to you, my mind just gets blown. But I wasn't prepared for it to get blown that big today. I was
Well,
just like, wow, half the questions aren't even questions because they're not real. But
well,
one
I,
of the
ho-
things that
I
we
hope
always teach is have fun, try new flavors, try new things.
I hope your honey is not upset with me for me blowing your mind.
I'm sure he's used to it. After every time I talk to him, I'm telling him something else. I sat there and told him about. Let me go to this page real quick. This is the events page, so you can see next time Dr. Bergman comes and the other classes that we offer on gluten, dairy, sugar free. But Dr. Bergman, I was sitting there lecturing him about water. And then I started talking about the study that you talked about with the doctor who treated people with water. And I couldn't remember half of it. And pretty soon I was like, well, I don't remember all of it, but just drink the water.
Yeah, the Dr. Batman Gunji has written a couple of books, but Your Body's Many Cries for Water is probably one of the best books.
Your body many cries for, I'm writing this down.
Your Body's Many Cries for Water by Dr. Batman Gunji.
Okay. But here I was just like, and so I didn't realize you have really been training me. I'm like Pavlov's dog here, just sucking it up. That on every call with him, I'm saying something like, don't forget to hydrate. Don't forget to hydrate. So the other day, instead of saying hello, he said, I'm hydrating.
Cool.
So I appreciate you taking the time again to blow my mind on cholesterol. God knows what you'll do in a couple weeks. Any parting advice for anyone who is not had their mind blown about cholesterol?
Just realize that your body is always raising or lowering all levels. You never want to treat your system allopathically, where you're trying to get an herb, a supplement, or a drug to second guess the intelligence of your body. It's only responding to environmental stimulus given a physical, chemical, or emotional stress. Your body's smart, man. Love it. Treat it good. Give it good stuff. Listen to Michelle DeBerge more.
I have to tell you, this journey has just been so delightful. And for those of you that know me, I've been trying to gather my time so I could go down for 2 weeks to have Dr. Bergman treat me, because when he saw my x-rays, he cackled and said, wow, that's really bad, but I can fix it. And then he looked at me and told me the problems that I had. And some of them I had not even told his partner, Dr. John DeWitt. And I would looked at him like he was a madman. And I said, well, how do you know that? And it was because he could tell by my body or what was missing and needing. So I really appreciate you coming and educating us twice a month and doing this for us, because this is just mind blowing. You let me know what topic you want to blow my mind with next time. But wow, cholesterol, it helps my body. Yay.
Well, we could talk about how heart attacks don't come from clogged arteries. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Heart attacks it is. Okay, that's a good look how excited he is. All right. Well, have a great day. It's so weird to talk to you and not like watch your face, but I really enjoyed today. Thank you.
This was a blast. Thank you so much. God bless you, miss.
All right, talk to you later. Bye.
Bye.
All right, guys, that's it for today. It's the 2nd and 4th of every month. Dr. Bergman is here, and you know the next topic is about heart attacks. So if you want to come into the kitchen table at Gluten, Dairy, Sugar Free and join, it's $19.95 a month, and you get to see all the back shows, and you have access to all my books and all the videos of all the classes I teach. And by being a kitchen table member, you're also allowed to send in questions if you're going to miss a class, and I make sure he answers them. Great way to get some health care for free, and I appreciate Dr. Bergman's time. I really do. So all you guys have a great, fabulous, it's Friday. It's Friday the 13th. Okay. Have a great Friday, and we will see you next time.